Hi, let's examine principles of value in regards to appraisals. Principles of value. Rules known as the principles of value apply when determining value. Principles of value include substitution, highest and best use, increasing and decreasing returns, and conformity. Principle of substitution. A buyer or investor will pay no more for a property than the cost of acquiring, through a purchase or construction, of an equally desirable alternative property, or no one would pay more for a property than another similar property that is available for less. The concept of substitution sets an upper limit of value. Why would a buyer pay $50,000 more for a property than a neighboring property that is almost identical? Or why would a buyer pay more for an existing property than one that they can build cheaper? Considering that every property is unique, it is tempting for sellers to view their own property as being so special that it warrants the higher price. Occasionally, a buyer will come along that agrees, but generally speaking, the rule of substitution applies, and the sale of similar properties sets the upper limit of value. So the concept of substitution states that an informed and educated buyer will pay no more for a property than the cost of another property, regardless of whether it's through purchasing an existing home or building a similar new home. Highest and best use. The most probable use of a property that is legally permissible, is physically possible, financially feasible, and results in maximum profitability. Highest and best use is vacant land. If vacant property, then the highest and best use will be based on the zoning usage. Highest and best use as improved property. Once the value of the vacant land exceeds the value of the improved property, including demolition cost, highest and best use will usually dictate that improvements be demolished. Keep in mind that the highest and best use doesn't always match exactly how a property is currently being used. For example, if you live in a home where the area surrounding the home has been rezoned for commercial uses, you might still be allowed to live in the home. However, the greatest value for the property would most likely be achieved by the property being converted over to commercial use. Increasing and decreasing returns. Improvements to land and structures increase value, but this increase in value will max out at a property's maximum value. Once maximum value is obtained, additional improvements no longer increase the value of the property. As money is spent to improve the property, the law of increasing returns applies. Over improvement is continuing to improve a property past the maximum value. This is a concept that real estate licensees will find often. particularly when working with buyers that have lived in a home for a long time and have taken great care to update the property over time. It may also be an issue for investors that are new to property flipping and misjudge how to spend on improvements. Conformity. Value is accomplished when a property is in symmetry with other properties. Maximum value is realized when a reasonable degree of homogeneity of improvements or similarity of properties is present in an area. Think about a homeowner that builds a very unusual looking home. The home is of proper square footage, it follows building rules, it may even be charming, but the fact that it is of an odd design could substantially hurt the actual value due to the principle of conformity. Remember that conformity means that value is accomplished when property is in symmetry with other properties. And once you start practicing real estate, you will work with properties where the homeowner took great care to customize the property. And I can honestly tell you that when it comes to practicing real estate, nothing makes me cringe more than to hear a potential seller proudly tell me that the home has been customized. Why? Because a customized home generally costs the homeowner dearly to build, and it is rare for the homeowner, that seller, to see a true return on the money spent. Not only that, the custom features are often not seen as even being desirable to the new buyer. This isn't to say that variation in home styles, paint colors, fencing, etc. isn't desirable in a neighborhood. However, when a property stands out too much from the neighbors, it often does experience a loss in value rather than a gain. And the best return of customized homes come from areas where each home is actually unique, where it's normal for each home to be customized. In those areas, being customized is actually the norm rather than the exception, and flips to actually conforming with the other homes through the uniqueness. Additional appraisal terms to know. Assemblage. Combining of two or more adjoining properties into one. Plottage. Added value that results from assemblage. Progression. The value of an inferior property is enhanced by association with superior properties. Additional appraisal terms to know. Continued. Regression. The value of a superior property is adversely affected by association with inferior properties. Situs. People's preferences for a certain area. Assemblage and plottage. Assemblage is the putting together of the property. Plottage is the gaining of value through assemblage of the property. Progression and regression. Progression is the inferior property increasing in value, while regression is the superior property losing value when an inferior and a superior property are positioned next to each other. Situs. Situs are buyer preferences for a certain area. Situs contributes to market value when the location is seen as desirable to prospective buyers.